Hi everyone, my name's Karen. I am the chair of the British University Sailing Association, and I'm here today to answer the questions which you guys have been sending in. I'm joined by my lovely housemate Holly, who is going to help me out.
Great. So the first question was sent in by Dan, and he'd like to know what got you into sailing.
So I started sailing from probably before I can remember. My dad was a senior instructor before we were born, so me and my sister grew up sailing in our little wooden mirror dinghy.
Oh, yeah. That's very cute. So building on that, Harriet would like to know, where did you first start sailing?
So I grew up in Southampton on the south coast, and specifically I sailed at Calshot on the Solent, which many people know, and also at Royal Lymington Yacht Club. And we started sailing at a little lake near Lymington, some of you might know, called the Sultans.
Cool. So the next question is from Fran, and she's asked, how many years have you been sailing for? But as we've kind of discussed this already, maybe you could build on it a bit and comment how your sailing has changed through the years that you've been sailing.
Yeah, so I guess, as I said, I started sailing because of my dad. And then as the years went on, and it moved from more my dad being like, come on, let's go sailing, and more to us actually wanting to do it, I started sailing oppies at the Sultans. And there we learn how to sail, learn how to capsize without being scared, which I was for a while. And then we move on to the river when we're good enough. And Royal Lymington has a really big group of sailors. And I kind of progressed through the ranks, went through national squads, then sailed toppers at Calshot. And then moved on to lasers, but I was always a little bit too small. And I still have my laser, but I just sail at my club now. And then, of course, I sailed at university, and I sailed Fireflies mostly, doing team racing, and I've also sailed at our Yacht Nationals, which are in Sunsail F40s.
Wow, so it started as a sort of thing to do with your parents when you were young, a little hobby, and it's grown into, I guess, a big part of your life.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, so on this topic, the next question is from Emily, and she'd like to know, how often do you go sailing?
So I try to sail once a week. At the moment, I've probably been sailing more than that since lockdown, just because the weather's been lovely, mostly, touch wood. But it depends really. When I am sailing with my university, we normally train twice a week on weekends, sometimes on a Wednesday afternoon. And then when I'm really busy, it can be up to a few months, but I try not to let it get that long.
Yes, you are often very busy. So building on this, Graham would like to know, if you didn't sail, what would you be doing instead?
So I am a physiotherapist, and I'm also doing a PhD. My physio areas are, I work with children in a very warm swimming pool, hydrotherapy.
Not like the lakes and the rivers then?
No. And I also work in on an orthopedic ward. But I think when I'm not sailing, I'm trying to fit those things into my life and do a little bit of running and other activities. But I would hope that I will always sail.
Yeah, so very busy then. Do you ever take some downtime, some Karen time?
Sometimes.
Occasionally.
Yes, occasionally.
There's not too many committee meetings.
Yes.
Great, so that's a bit about Karen, and the next questions are a little bit more about university sailing in general. So Frank would like to know, how different is sailing at university than it is at the NSSA?
So there are some aspects that are very similar. So both BUSA and NSSA have set championships and events through the year where students can compete for trophies and awards. But then there are also areas which are slightly different. So within BUSA, we give more opportunities to progress areas which people want to build on. So, for example, we work closely with the RWA doing a green-blue sustainability challenge. We're also working on increasing sailing for individuals with disabilities. So there's more to be, there's more which you can get involved in, as well as championships within BUSA, I would say. So I also guess another difference is within BUSA, every club has committees. So at the moment at school, I know you all have coaches, and by being on a committee, you get an opportunity to push these areas you're interested in, for example, sustainability, and it also gives you an opportunity to lead a club and then progress onwards, I guess. And I personally found moving to university and taking on those opportunities as a captain and a commodore meant that I now push myself in other areas within education and further afield. So yeah, it's a really good opportunity to do that.
I think it's a big part of the university experience as well, not necessarily even sailing, but just being part of university groups and societies and having the chance to be on committees. And definitely, I know a lot of my friends, and from what I've seen of you, have been able to use those skills after university as well. So
yeah,
great. So Janet has asked in the next question, how many universities have sailing clubs?
So we currently have 46 member clubs, so lots of universities. There are around 150 in the UK. So if the university you go to doesn't have a sailing club, we're working with probably 4 or 5 universities at the moment who want to start sailing to help them build clubs, which again is a really good opportunity. And then as we have so many clubs, we also have regional areas. So this year we actually added a new area in the east, which means that more universities and more university clubs will now be able to join BUSA, which is great. And then on our national committee, we have chairs for each of these areas. So that's a really good opportunity if you've been on a club committee and you want to work more broadly with more clubs in your area, perhaps to build on something you're interested in, for example, women in sailing possibly. It's a chance to get involved and kind of take a step up within BUSA, I guess.
Cool. So a little bit back to you now, Karen. So Gary and Chloe would like to know, how did you get to where you are now?
So I guess I just touched upon it. So I guess every year I've been at university, which is many years now. As I said, I'm doing a PhD. Just finished a PhD, I should say. I've tried to challenge myself in some way and take on something new. So, for example, at my first club, I tried to get them racing more. And then I took that on and became Commodore. And then from there, I guess at events around the country, you get to know lots of different people and lots of different teams. And I thought, why not take on another challenge? And I became area chair of the Midlands. Really enjoyed that. Set up a new development event in our region. And then, I thought, why not have a go at using the skills I've learned? Why not stop there? Yeah. And I guess I became chair. But I'm chair, but I have lots of different people who kind of keep things going. I'm just the person who sits at the top and oversees. Yeah, exactly.
But the work is very much distributed throughout the hierarchy of BUSA, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool. So final question, Ollie would like to know, what has been the most difficult part of your job?
Ooh, hard question. I was about to say difficult there.
Next question.
So I guess possibly, as I've touched upon, BUSA, a little bit like NSSA, is a huge association, and there are so many members, so many clubs. It's I have to really keep on top of everything that's going on in all the different areas to be able to ensure that BUSA is able to help everyone and help everyone on a club level, as well as overseeing everything that's being done in the committee, so we can push big projects forward, which people are interested in. And I definitely think a key part of being a leader is taking people's ideas on, working out a way of making them possible, and then making it happen. So I guess it's been a challenge, but it's definitely a challenge that's worthwhile. As we were saying earlier, I think any leadership opportunity or opportunity to be on a committee is great, and will really help you in the future.
Well, I heard a saying, actually, you just reminded me then, that the people who are true leaders are the ones who inspire others around them to be leaders. And I guess that is kind of your job description.
Yes, exactly.
Leading BUSA, but inspiring the people on your committee and the subcommittees to then lead their own parts.
Exactly, yeah. Like I said, I would not be able to do anything without all of the different people on my committee and different people on clubs who put ideas forward and are interested. Yeah.
Oh, great. Brilliant. Great to hear all about BUSA. Thanks, Karen.
Great. Thank you everyone for your questions. If you have any other questions that haven't been answered, feel free to get in touch on the Instagram, and I can always drop you a message or an email if any more questions come through NSSA to me. Brilliant. Thank you. Have a nice evening.